We are live. Happy Valentine's Day. This is the market update. I'm your host, Bill Noble. No date tonight? Don't worry. Your date tonight is crypto. How to be bullish in crypto. How to stay bullish in crypto. Why should you stay bullish in crypto? Well, I'll tell you that right now. It's because Gary Gensler just gave us all a present. He's taken us back in time to 2017, where you have three choices. Do nothing and work your day job, buy Bitcoin, or speculate in the future of technology using altcoins. Stablecoins are not safe. Altcoins are better. Why are altcoins up today? That is why altcoins are up today. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, hit the like button. We are closing in on 2,500 subscribers. I want to thank everybody who's been here. Share it with your friends. Thank you. Okay, let's welcome who's on the stream. Rugby Performance Labs in the house. Robin, GF, Bull Runner, all my usual friends, right? Shizzy, my bags are heavy. Jake is here. Richard Barry, Augusta, Georgia. All right. Yes, Rugby first on the show. Nice. Chris Kata, Zoran from Croatia, Rave Song Records, Tito, Baby Whale, representing Texas. Invisible Fisherman, new to the show. Welcome. Jake Bland, right? Zcash in the house. Aiken with the Notorious Love. Channel with Noble Capital Management, right? Big Maddings, welcome. I Need a Nap. Donato, I recognize a lot of these names. Chatty Man, Big Maddings. Nick is here from the UK. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Okay. Into news. Into news. Into news. Okay. What's the secret to having strong conviction in a bull market? 4 steps. Quietly get bullish when everyone is bearish. That was back in December. Then when the rally starts, push the bullish case, as was the case all throughout January. Push it real good. Okay? Sing that song in your head. Then, and here's the tough part, when it goes down, get more bullish, like yesterday, right? Everyone's selling off the SEC, and it's going to be the buy signal of the year. It's the buy signal of the year, in my opinion. Now, is it going to go straight up? Probably not. But they're coming out of stablecoins, and they're coming into altcoins. Then stay with the trend. Never take the victory lap. Never. Right? Take the victory lap after it turns around and goes down and reverses. Never take the victory lap. Now, that's not to say never take profits. Pay yourself when you're right. Just saying from an analytical research standpoint. She worked pretty hard to craft this tweet. 1,640 views for my Twitter feed. That's actually kind of low. It's kind of low, but it's okay. It's okay because you know what? That's good. That means they still don't believe. Now, let's get into other news. News that is sort of like earth-shattering. So it's Valentine's Day. It's time for love. It's time for gratitude or appreciation. Or maybe it's time to feel shitty and lonely. Both of these things happened. So if you're having a bad day, you're probably not having a bad day as somebody in the Ohio River Valley or on the Pennsylvania-Ohio border, where we just lost 10% of the U.S. population's water contaminated with vinyl chloride. Areas of concern for downstream water supplies. Okay. Now, I'm bringing this up because on Valentine's Day, you want to think about hope. You want to think about investing or buying something, particularly in crypto, that has a purpose. Okay. So there is GLDN, the native token of a commodities ecosystem. I work there. I own the token. Sometimes I bring it up. Sometimes I bring it up a lot. Sometimes I bring it up a little. One of the big things you can do with GLDN is you can buy one of the other tokens in our ecosystem, BARC. What's BARC? Well, it's a water pricing token. Gold Retriever has 3 of 5 licenses to get water out of Greenland. Now, you may ask yourself very briefly, how does water get out of Greenland? You know what? I convened our leadership today and I said, gentlemen, you will explain this to me. How about 50,000 engineers from one of the biggest engineering companies in the world at the ready to help get water from one place to the other? How about the U.S. government, FEMA, the U.S. military? Now, you're like, well, Bill, this is boring because nothing's ever going to happen that's going to create a problem for water. Well, I guess we don't have to worry about that anymore. And what you can do on Valentine's Day is just think about a hopeful solution. It's not investment advice. It's information for you to process. How would you invest in a water solution? Well, BARC is part of that solution because as my company, the company I work for would sell water and move it from one place to the other, or have someone come pick it up, which is also happening or going to happen. The proceeds from this revenue will be used to buy back the BARC token. So the more business we have, the more money there is to buy BARC. And then one day the eventual goal is to have water priced in BARC the way NFTs are priced in ETH. The ultimate goal is to have a BARC water index on Bloomberg where you can go look up the price of water. So what are you going to give your significant other for Valentine's Day? Chocolates, flowers? I'm all about it. I wrote my girlfriend and my daughter love poems using Chat GPT today. That's some really good gifts. Okay. But normally I don't talk much about this because there's no catalyst necessarily to talk about. So it doesn't sound like research. When I got tweets like this, that 10% of the US population now has contaminated water, I'm talking about GLDN and I'm talking about BARC. GLDN's got a pulse today. It's moving. You heard it here first. Okay. So let's go to other news. Goldman Sachs CEO tells partners he regrets not firing employees sooner after laying off 3,200 last month. Let's think about this for a second. A CEO has to apologize to the partners of a company for not laying off people fast enough. And we're all freaked out about, the housing renting component of CPI is still elevated, therefore the Fed will still be bothered. Well, of course the shelter component of CPI is up. People have to rent apartments because housing is blowing up. Higher shelter costs short term is a sign of housing blowing up. And they sold the market on this morning. The stocks were down like 1%. Meanwhile, CEOs are apologizing for not laying off enough people. Now you see 3,200 and you're like, oh, okay, well, it's 3,200. That's 3,200 people now sitting on their couch wondering, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to get another job? Particularly when every other company is doing exactly the same thing. I mean, who really is hiring? Unless, of course, you can use Chat GPT. Okay. So what's the Fed going to do? Oh, Fed funds guaranteed at 5%. Okay. People think the Fed's going to be lowering rates soon. That's not going to happen. Okay. Meanwhile, as everyone focuses on like basically the wrong stuff, the smartest person in the whole world, pretty much, DC, says mass distractions, inflation, dot plots about Fed funds, balloons, tanks, UFOs. 3 weeks ago, Janet Yellen had to do emergency measures to stop a default. Default insurance 1 year from now on U.S. Treasuries widened explosively. There is a huge distraction going on from the fact that the U.S. government may not be able to pay its bills. Now, I understand if you're looking at train crashes and things like that, that could be a false flag. That could be us creating a distraction. That could be the Russians attacking us. You don't know. Obviously, it's bad when you have UFOs followed by train chemical derailments, and there was even an active shooter on a college campus. There's way too much weird stuff going on at the same time. Now, what does that mean to me? Well, I can't figure all that out, but I do know this. If you lose 10% of your drinkable water in the United States, it stands to reason you have economic distress. You have economic distress. Like if your house is within 10 square miles of that mushroom cloud in Ohio, are you going to pay your mortgage? Or are you just going to hand the keys back to the bank? Be like, I'm not living in the contamination zone. This creates economic slowdown. So whatever's going on, whether it's war or whether it's just some sort of gigantic accident, it doesn't matter. The Federal Reserve can say or do what it wants. They can raise interest rates to wherever they want. The market doesn't care. The market shouldn't care. They shouldn't. Because it's already going the other way. It's just a question of when they have to reverse themselves. Now, more crypto disaster porn. Crypto's work with hedge funds faces scrutiny under U.S. regulatory proposal. Part of the description of today's show is we're going back to 2017. Like, hedge funds can't do it. Pension funds can't do it. The SEC is just going to try to prevent everyone from doing crypto. Well, guess what? All they're going to do is make people want to do it harder. And as I've been saying, they are not going to stop crypto. Here's why. Paxos categorically disagrees with the SEC that Binance USD is a security. Now, if you owned a stable coin, you're probably happy that Paxos is going to stand up to the SEC. But if you owned a stable coin, there's too much risk in that. In other words, the SEC doesn't want you to own crypto. They don't want you to own stable coins. But what they're going to do is they're going to push everybody out of stable coins and into the crypto market. Okay, maybe pension funds can't buy crypto. Maybe. Okay, I don't know how they're going to stop overseas hedge funds. They're just going to make overseas hedge funds bigger. Because if that's where you have to buy crypto. And they can't hold stable coins. So what are they going to hold? They're going to hold crypto. U.S. crackdown seeks to push crypto back to the fringes of finance. Crypto is dead. The SEC is killing crypto. No, the SEC is pushing everybody into altcoins and Bitcoin. Regulatory risk is real for stablecoins. Everybody has to get out. So the amount of money that's got to go into stablecoins is huge. That's got to come out of stablecoins is huge. So sometimes I joke on the stream about the one chart market update. This may actually be the one chart market update. This is total 3. This is total altcoin market cap. So altcoins go up. They have a big rally. Then the market cap for altcoin retraces 38%, which is a very standard correction. Remember what I was talking about how to stay bullish, right? You get mildly bullish here. You get mega bullish here. And then when it comes back down, if you believe in it, or even if you don't believe in it, or if it's scary, which it is scary. Just because I can shout it out into the mic doesn't mean I don't go, wow, can I really say that? But the tweet was about how to have conviction. This is a squat bar, which can lead to a bottom, just like that one led to a top. This is a reversal candlestick, which at the moment is holding. ETH is up 3.5%. When you sold ETH, when they sold ETH this morning and last night, like when these people sold ETH yesterday, this candle right here, yeah, who were you selling it to? You were selling it to smart money. And even I got caught because I thought this was a Livermore accumulation cone. And look what they did to me. They're like, okay, Bill, that's a very nice cone you got there. Let's run the stops for 5 days. And I'm like, shit, I knew it, right? I saw this in 2009 to the point where I don't even know how many times I saw it. Nobody ever asked me about it, but it was like a hidden joke. The chart would break, and it would be like, this is going to hell in the handbasket, and then this would happen. It would go down, come straight back, and you'd have to buy it before an inflation number. And I believe on Zero Hedge, not a lot of new information in the CPI report. So if there's not a lot of new information, why is everyone selling Ethereum? And why does everyone think Ethereum at 1558 is expensive? I mean, do you realize that they dropped Ethereum? I mean, I understand this is broken record for people who are on the stream, but I can't help it. Like, they dropped Ethereum to 1462 on Coinbase, to the 2017 high at 1425. It's like, is it Valentine's Day or is it Christmas? So let's just leave this chart up there for a little bit, right? You know, you can see how they work off this oversold condition on the 13-day RSI, right? It's overbought, it diverges, and now we're going to see. So we have somebody saying hello. I can't pronounce it. Luminatics, welcome. Baby Whale is here. Llama Sun, cheers from Italy. Brick Dreams, thinking about Jasmine, the sleeping giant, right? Wrong again. Pratik is here. Jake, right? Wanda NDA, welcome. Okay, Lee says balloon and UFOs is cover up for new military bases in the Philippines to aggravate China. 707 Vegan says Bitcoin has been my boyfriend for 3 years. Ha ha, new to your channel. Thanks, Noble. Thank you for joining the show. Thank you. Lawn Shark 423, looking for some alpha. Amsterdam in the house. Ashton reminding you that CPI is high because of eggs. SFG is here with the little bark emoji. Love it. Greg is here. Swan Dog in the house. Pancakes and peanut butter. Welcome. Welcome. All right. Let's go to TA on demand. Let's see what we got. Damn, remember this? Rose. 13 top. Sell. So we're looking at Tom DeMark's work. You count a certain set of conditions, like the high is higher than the high 2 days ago. So there's two sets, there's two ways, two stages of a trend. You go 1 through 9. That's the setup phase. Okay. And then there's a correction. And then you go 1 through 13. That's the countdown. So normally when you see a 9, it'll either be a pause in a trend or a top in a range. When you see a 13, that can usually be a sign that it might be time to exit. And we're looking at a 90-minute chart 2 days ago. We noted the 9 bottom in Rose and boom. Okay. Now we're basically at the high, and it's probably going to have like a blow off top candle to make a 9 top. Okay. Near Web3. So underrated. So underrated. Okay, so there's not a lot of exciting things happening on the 4-hour chart. But when I look at this, sideways pattern, there's not a lot of resistance on this 90-minute chart until 257. 4-hour Avalanche chart. There's your 13 bottom yesterday, late. Okay, late yesterday. What stops this from going back to 20? I mean, Bitcoin goes into a range and these things just smoke to the upside. Polkadot. Okay. You know, I'm just like randomly ripping through some altcoins. Okay. There's resistance at 624. Okay. I'm in a mind where if you see something breaking resistance on the altcoin space, I don't want to buy stuff at the high, but this is not the high. You know what I'm saying? Like Polkadot 6.3 is the high of the recent range. Okay. But this trend, this uptrend, I don't know. It seems logical that it would just continue. Like this structure here, zigzag and then up, is almost the same as this structure, zigzag and then up. Can it really be that simple? Yeah, it could be. Let's go to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Hey, Andre is here. Welcome. Bitcoin 4-hour chart. I don't know. You got about 12 more hours of upside, I would think. This is actually ETH. 12 more hours of upside. Okay, Bitcoin, same thing. Except you got this massive 13 bottom, 5 wave, end of downtrend material. And all these wicks down, they want it. They just want it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not coming off this. Like, you know, like tactically. Okay, so this is Bitcoin 90 minute. Do you want to pay $22,000 for Bitcoin? Do you have to? Not necessarily. Right? Maybe you get a dip, say end of day, or maybe starting into tomorrow. Okay. It's not over. It's just starting. Jeff is here. Phoenix, welcome. Aruna, Israel. Okay. Ocho, welcome from Sydney, Australia. Okay. Somebody mentioning Solana. I'm not getting out until 30. Render. Okay. So you got a 9 top on the 90 minute. But again, yesterday when we were talking about seeing a 9 bottom, as it turns out, these things rotate up. Now, could this be a range in stuff that went parabolic like Render? It could be. It could be. You know, if you can buy a dip from here on out and make money, it really is a bull market. It really is. So like the graph on the 90-minute chart, you know, that's probably your range on the stuff that went parabolic. The question is, can you find stuff that hasn't gone parabolic, right? And get involved with that. So this is Fetch AI, right? Down, base, up. I would say if you get one dip in something like this and it holds, it's going to go. Hedera. You know, we were looking at this yesterday. I was like, well, you know, this thing makes a big new high, comes off. Isn't it funny how this just doesn't go anywhere? It doesn't move. Meaning it doesn't go down when the rest of the market goes down. So somebody must really want that. Pardo, love from the Brazilian Amazon. Spin is here. King. Got some AVAX NFA. You know, really interested in Solana. Man, they love to hate this. And they're still selling it every time it goes up to 22. But I mean, if you look at the basic D wave on this, I'm talking like basic. This is like wave 5 or wave C, end of downtrend. 1, 2, 3. And even if it's A, B, C, there's still probably going to be a new high in Solana. I mean, why not? Right? Why not? Madrid checking in here. He thinks Solana is the sleeping giant. I'm going to tell you what the sleeping giant is. The sleeping giant could be Cardano. Now, I know everyone says this, I know everyone says this. I'm trying to get to the chart. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to have to put it up manually. Got to ask yourself a question. If total 3 is going to go up, right? If total altcoin market cap is going to explode, what's going to lead? This Cardano DeMark work is unbelievable. You had a 9 bottom in this thing yesterday. So, you know, you're looking for stuff that's not stretched out. The bottom in Cardano was yesterday. And if Cardano starts a 3 wave, I mean, would you look at how much like room this thing has for a 3 wave this way? I mean, Cardano could be up this week. It could be up this week and then 3 more weeks after that. So you're talking about 4 up weeks in Cardano before you see a 9 top. 46 cents is resistance. That almost feels conservative, right? Because again, there's not a lot of new information here in CPI. And whatever this is with these trains, whether it's war or just an economic disturbance, it's going to slow down economic growth. It is. And layoffs are everywhere. So you're like, well, I can't really buy Cardano because the macro environment, blah, 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 blah. No, the macro environment is just fine. Thank you. It's just fine. Okay. Ocho, Zcash would go to 40. Am I still interested? I definitely am interested. I'm definitely interested. Zcash puts in the 13 top and somebody puts a floor in it right there at 43. Privacy is like water and gold, right? And the metaverse. I mean, I wrote love poetry today for both my daughter and my girlfriend using Chat GPT. Wouldn't it be cool if I could show up in the metaverse somehow and read that poem to my girlfriend? You know, on a beautiful cruise ship, right? And an AI sponsored waiter could come up and, you know, offer us a nice dinner. It's going to happen, right? Chat GPT makes everything more efficient. It's like the internet when it first came out. Like somebody asked me today, it's like, so you used to trade when there was no computers, right? I'm like, yeah, hand signals and phones. So I've seen the world become more efficient a couple of times. And this is happening again. And Zcash and privacy is going to be a part of that. Just like the water trade and everything else I've been pounding the table about, along with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Because the one thing we have not talked about is about crypto as the future of tech. We talk about Bitcoin as the future of money. We do not talk about crypto as the future of tech. So uncertain, you know, Sandbox, massive blow off top, comes off, right? Buy the God candle, sell the God candle, buy it back on the dip. So I'm not certain on the daily chart. Oh, look at this. 13 bottom on the 4-hour chart of Sandbox, and boom. Whatever made this go up this way, they can do it again. People are coming out of stable coins. Okay, wrong again, wants to take a look at Decentraland. Why not? Same story. 13 bottom early yesterday, actually. Right? And now we're just sort of sitting here waiting. So the bears want to sell it. They want to sell rallies. Okay. They want to sell rallies. I want to buy dips. So if they take it up and they make a 9 top, okay, maybe it's in a range. But if they want it, if you see them want it on the dip, then you know it's game on. It's not a bull market until you can buy a dip and make money. So here was it, one dip. You bought it. You made money. Here's another dip. Will you be able to buy this dip and make money? Okay, someone's asking about Coval. Interesting little ABC correction there. Kind of a big A. Can't remember the last time I've seen that. Now, I don't know what this is. Obviously, you should do your own research. But what I am interested in is it does a blow off top. It comes off, right? I would prefer to see it above this support point. But in order for you to experiment with the bull market, you have to buy the dip to see if you can make money. Okay? Okay, Brick Dreams is here. A lot more crypto. Good afternoon. Welcome. Okay, let's take a look at equities, see what's going on in stocks. Oh, wait. You mean there was a stop fishing exercise in equities too? Yep. Actually, they had multiple stop fishing exercises. Okay, they got everybody up here. They went down. They got everybody down here. This is S&P futures. And they felt the need to do it again because people just can't stop hating it. I don't know if, you know, it's really that bad in stocks because of earnings, things like that. You know, Fed still on the warpath. I'll take equities like this for crypto. I'll take it in like an upward sloping sideways range. I'm cool with this. I mean, it's not hurting crypto. It's not. Cardano up 7%. We talked about this earlier. Okay. Here's some hidden pivot work in Cardano. Want to wave your hands in the air like you just don't care? How about this? Cardano takes out 38 cents, 38.7. No, that remains to be seen. 51 cents is the target. You're saying to yourself, well, I can't do this because I missed the whole up trade. Did you? What did you miss? Nothing. You missed nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like Cardano is back where it was in November. We're in like a pre-FTX zone in Cardano. It's pre-FTX. All we've done is unwind everything. Is there resistance here? Yeah. Let's just make sure we label this Cardano daily. A lot of people who like, you know, sort of cater to this crowd. You know, what happens if these guys are actually right? You know what I'm saying? So somebody wants hidden pivot for Avalanche and Solana. So again, these are daily charts. So this is kind of like dream the big dream, which I'm cool with completely. Okay, so Solana's got to get above 24. And then if it does, it goes to 38. Now, let's see if we can sort of get a better tactical read on that. I really can't, but you know, maybe you could do something like if Solana is above 23, it could go to 33. So it's easy to be bullish on an up day. Yesterday, I tried to be bullish on a down day because that's the tactical plan for being a high conviction bull, right? I mean, how much more FUD can Gensler put out? And if he does, it affects stablecoins. I don't think he's after Web3. Right? Wrong again. It's like, I still think it's cheap. You know, and if you bring up Avalanche, Avalanche is like, I mean, hidden pivot analysis worked the first time. Now this feels like a bigger deal, right? But again, it's got to break out first, right? Like I don't. This is a trend following system. Like DeMark is more like reversal based. So if you ever saw Avalanche above 19 again, 1984. Could be talking about 28. Now, you have a congestion zone in Avalanche here, right? You got, in other words, even if Avalanche doesn't go above 1984, it may be comfortable just sitting here, right? Rudy's like, hey, take some profits. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you bought Solana at 11, getting out at 18 might make sense. Okay. Robert wants BARC to the moon. Me too, man. I own it. I work there. Okay. Now, somebody is noting, rightly so, that this could be a head and shoulders top. And if Avalanche tries to rally to 1984 and fails, that you could have an ugly pattern. Okay. Here's how I like to think about this. One, I think to develop this, you might need a more sideways pattern. Two, frequently what works are the things that people cannot see. So if everybody can see the same thing in crypto, it doesn't always work. It doesn't always work. Okay. Now, I'm not disrespecting the chart. So there's being a high conviction bull, there's pounding the table on down days, there's reinforcing the case on up days, and then there's being stupid. Okay. So this is optimism, right? Kind of insane, like the hidden pivot analysis in this, just like where it could go. You know, like just as a case in point, if Optimism takes out 248, I can draw 370. Now, if Optimism is like a hot tech stock, I don't know, if you saw Optimism above 262, which is not an unrealistic number, by the way, right? And if 262 is like a threshold, then 249 might not be expensive. I mean, I know it is up 8% today. And when it is up 8%, maybe you wait and buy one dip. If you don't get a dip, that might be a sign that this thing wants to eventually take out 262 and go to 4.3. Is that pie in the sky? Well, maybe, but let me ask you this. I mean, when Optimism went up here, right? And you were like, oh, okay, well, wow, this is really up a lot. It went from 90 cents to $1.80. And then there was this dip. Like, well, that's kind of a, maybe that's the end. And then this thing just keeps going. I mean, could this be a head and shoulders top? Yes, it could be. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Like, don't get off the trend. That's why I said in the tweet, don't do a victory lap. No victory laps. Okay. TA is something everybody can do. Getting your mindset right, that's what professional analysts can help you with, right? Bart reminding you to hit the like button. Okay. This is interesting. So somebody says fastest way to hide men behaving badly is to pump the market. Okay. So there is this theory out there, if I'm catching the drift, that the whole crypto market is somehow being pumped, right? Sort of being manipulated higher to like restore confidence. And let's take a brief moment to assume that that's true. So let's pull up total crypto market cap and let's try some, borderline conspiracy theory. So what we're saying is the crypto market went up. Total crypto market cap is now back where it was in September. In November, it's basically back to pre-FTX levels. And what we're saying is that this whole rally is a fake because it's being manipulated. I'm like, okay, well, Did you know that back in 2009 that is exactly what Ben Bernanke did with the stock market? Like, he just started QE. We didn't know what that was at the time. We didn't understand it. The Fed said, hi, we're doing quantitative easing. Nobody knew what that was. I remember my boss writing in like the bottom line of his commentary, oh yeah, and by the way, the Fed's doing quantitative easing, not knowing what that really was. In this case, we don't have Ben Bernanke doing it. We have Gary Gensler, who is telling you to get out of stablecoins. You can buy Optimism or get depegged. You can buy Avalanche or get depegged. Hey, you can buy Litecoin or get depegged. I kind of think this Litecoin chart's pretty cool, personally. It's kind of sitting there, right there on this like Fibonacci speed resistance line. So if you pull up the daily, I mean, they're kind of pounding on this line and they're putting some distance today between that line and the upside. Now, the historic thing about Litecoin is when Litecoin pumps, the market dumps. Let's hope that's not the case. Litecoin has actually performed well with the market on the way up. I can't sell crypto here, especially with Gensler on the warpath actually helping us. Okay, looking at Galaxy Digital. Okay, so Galaxy is down today. Galaxy is the big hedge fund run by Mike Novogratz. So Galaxy obviously having a tough time, could not break the trend line, but the 62% retracement of the entire up move is at $4.27. So unless there's a colossal problem here that I don't know about, I'm interested at the 62% retracement. If anything, they made it cheap for you, assuming there's no fundamental problem, right? Like Bitcoin miners, HUT, Coinbase up 5%. Coinbase retraced 62% of its move. We were talking about this yesterday at 53. We'll see. Buyers seem hesitant. Okay. You want hesitant buyers. Like, it was easier to be highly convicted when it was down yesterday. It's actually a little bit harder to be highly convicted today when it's up. Okay. Baby Whale wants Litecoin at 84. We just label this as Coinbase. Okay. Lord Hunt, they're giving me some of that notorious love. Okay. Summing it up. It's not a bull market for you until you can buy a dip and make money. So it's not investment advice. CarMax is here. Welcome. Welcome. It's not a bull market until you can prove it to yourself that it's a bull market. If they stop you out, then you got stopped out trying to make money being long crypto. Here we go. Sorry, I was going to end it until we got this. SEC orders Circle to ease the sale of unregistered securities. Bitcoin and ETH are now your stable coins. I want to welcome everyone back to 2017, where you actually traded everything versus Bitcoin and now versus ETH. I said this for 2 days. You got to get out of stable coins, and either you got to cash out of the system or you got to get into crypto. You got to get into conventional cryptos. This is going to backfire on them. So we wish you a good night. I'm your host, Bill Noble. Hit the like button on the way out. We'll see you tomorrow.